Welcome back to the Coach Michael Burt Show. 1 hour, one phone call. This is Change Your Life Radio. I'm your host, Coach Michael Burt. Alongside me, the strategist and our very special guest, country music legend, and one of my heroes, Mr. T. Graham Brown, and his wife Sheila in the studio with us today. Just made our whole day for coming in here with us. T, welcome back to the show in the second segment. And one of the most powerful and life-changing songs I've ever heard is Wine into Water, which was a crossover hit, both country and Christian, right?
Yep.
And affected people all over the world. Tell us about this song and how it has affected you, because it's just such a powerful. I mean, the hair on my arm stands up when I listen to the song.
Man, that song is anointed. I got to tell you, that song has been working some good mojo out there on that song.
Yes.
It came about. I was drinking way too much. I mean, I was drinking way too much. Left to my own devices, I would get up and pour vodka in my coffee cup, even before I brushed my teeth, and then I was off to the races.
Yes.
You know, I mean, that's the way I drank. I was a power drinker. I didn't drink to be social. I drank to get drunk, you know, and that's a bad thing to do. So anyway, Bruce Burt, who is one of my very good friends from the University of Georgia that had come up here before me and wound up a hit songwriter and vice president of EMI, and later went to the University of Georgia and established a music business school down there. And so we were buddies, and he knew, you know, what was going on with me. And a fellow named Ted Hewitt, who's another hit songwriter and a hit producer. And Bruce came to us and said, "Hey, let's write this song." So we sat down. It took us a couple of days. Dang, it seems like it might have taken, we might have written on it, you know, and then taken a break. It might have been like a month later we got back together. We just kind of got stuck a little bit. But I remember coming up with that first line, "You've heard a multitude of prayers on my behalf," and then it just kind of took off. But anyway, Coach, that song, it helped me a whole lot. But I've been at Ed Bruce's house for the last 2 days writing songs, and we were talking about Wine into Water, and I was telling his wife Judy, just an example of many. I was down at the Florida State Fair in Tampa, signing autographs and meeting people after the show. And this big old hulking guy came up, you know, he was like 25 years old, something like that, young fella. And he leaned over, there was a line, and he was next in line. He leaned over the autograph table to kind of whisper in my ear. He didn't want anybody to hear it. And he said, "You know, this would have been in the summertime, let's say June." And he said, "You know, that Wine into Water saved my life." And I said, "Well, how so?" He said, "I'd been smoking crack around Christmas time." He said, "I'd blown everything I had, my job, my money, my wife left me." I mean, he was really at rock bottom. I don't think I ever got that far down. At least I had Sheila and had a job, you know. But this guy was a football player, and he just lost everything. And he said he went out into a field to kill himself. And he drove his truck out there. He hooked up the hose to the exhaust pipe. The truck was running. He'd already run it through the window. He was sitting in there, the carbon monoxide coming in, and he flipped on the radio, and Wine into Water came on at that second. And he said he sat there, he never heard it, and he sat there and listened to it, turned the truck off. He said he straightened out, it changed his life. He said, and this sounds so corny, like it's some fairy tale, but this is true. And he said, "I got my job back, I got my wife back, and everything's beautiful. It's never been this good before. I quit crack, I got my job back, I got my wife back." So, and that's just one example of life-saving things. And then it's been, you know, just to hear that people have gotten off whatever dope they're on or whatever, whiskey, whatever it is. And I've done everything, man. I've done a lot of different kinds of substances, a bunch. I mean, I could be an expert on all that stuff. Luckily, thanks. I'd have been face down in a ditch a long time ago if it hadn't been for Sheila.
Right.
But
well, let me ask you about that, T, because I watch you for hours and hours on YouTube. You know, when you're doing the thing you're doing with the other singers. What's the name of that again?
Country Family Reunion.
And I think that's just when you sing some of these songs. But at the end, a lot of times I see you look at Sheila and say, "Thank you, Sheila." Right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of your way of, sometimes saying, "Hey, baby, thanks for sticking with me when it was probably hard to."
See, one of my big it hurts Sheila, affects Sheila way worse than it does. See, I'm a severe bipolar guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I cycle up and down, and it can be, I can be as manic. And for people that don't know, manic is when you get really high and hyper and think these crazy thoughts. I love the feeling, but Sheila says I just turn into like a psycho.
Mm-hmm.
You think that you can rule the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets crazy, man. My reality shifts over, and they say I do bad things. I curse people out. I called my daddy one time, told him I was running for mayor in Nashville, and that I was going to win. And it was like he went along with me,
Right.
But it was just one. And that's
right.
Or then you go way down and you start thinking about suicide.
Uh-huh.
But I'm on this several medicines now that really help me. But anyway, it can be all kinds of problems. But wine and the waters help people. Like you liked Hell and High Water.
Yes.
And it helped you through. Hell and High Water is not necessarily about what you were going through, but
right.
It's one of those songs that had more than one effect on people.
Right.
And Wine and the Water's the same way, But it can be about divorce. It can be about
sure.
It just depends on how people take it.
What does the songwriting process mean for you? When you go through that, what does that mean for you?
It's cathartic.
Yeah.
A lot of times. But you sit there. A lot of I keep a little dictaphone kind of thing at my pillow, and I keep notebooks around. I keep a couple of Bibles around, a Strong's Concordance so I can look stuff up in the Bible, a dictionary, Webster's Collegiate Dictionary. I got all this stuff right around me all the time. And I watch television. Sometimes somebody will say something on television. Mm-hmm. I jot everything down. If I come even close to think I'm having an idea, I write it down, and I have like a list so that when I go to write with somebody, we're talking about, well, what should we write about? Have you got an idea? Well, have you got an idea? And so I got a list of, okay, what do you think of this? Bing, bing, bing. Well, okay, what do you think of this next one? And then they'll go, yeah, say that one again.
Yeah.
And let's write about that one.
Well, we got about a minute in this segment, but the songs that you write are pretty deep, pretty darn deep songs. I mean, they're not the superficial songs that you hear a lot, and I know there's been a shift in country music to some of that, but the songs you're writing, I mean, even like the songs like I Wish That I Could Hurt That Way Again. I mean, that's a paradox. It's basically, to me, no relationship may not be good for you, but you hang in there believing it'll turn around. I mean that.
I know, man. The thing of it is I feel like I'm growing up, Coach. Mm-hmm. At least I'm getting old. I don't know if I'm growing up, but I think about things I used to not think about. I'm much more Christian and Christian acting.
Yes.
And I get up every morning about 4 and I do a Bible study for an hour at least, and I'm learning so much. And I just don't feel like writing. I do it every now and then, but I don't feel like writing. Little Sally jumped in the pickup truck when we went to the drive-in. That doesn't.
Although it has happened.
Yeah, but it just don't send me anymore. You know? And I don't mean to be some deep and getting. It ain't like I'm on some deep deal because I'm not a deep person, but. It's good to write about something that's real.
Yeah, absolutely. Hang on to that thought when we come back.